happening, 831? Welcome to another episode of Go Live, Monterey County's main source for arts and entertainment news. I'm your host, Marcos Cabrera, features reporter for the Monterey County Herald. Sitting with me is the lovely Jeannie Evers. She is our Rabbit Ears blogger and columnist. How are you doing this afternoon?
I am doing just peachy. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for joining us.
My pleasure.
Mac McDonald this week is on assignment. So going into this week's edition of Go Magazine, we have Les Miserables on the cover, and this is being presented by the Monterey Peninsula College Theater Department. And it is a grand reopening of their new stage, which is being dubbed now the Morgan Stock Stage. They got somewhere like a $7 or $8 million bond, and it all was poured into getting it renovated. Got nice, huge stage and all these technical bells and whistles, it's really cool that they're using Les Miserables. This is the Central Coast premiere of this production. They're using Les Miserables to kind of showcase, you know, all the cool fancy stuff that they got going on there. So you've seen the movie, right?
Yeah, I've seen the movie, and it's certainly a big production. You know, I don't know how the play is going to compare to that, but the tale is certainly epic and grand and sweeping.
Yeah, it's all of that. And the director, NPC director Gary Bullen, he wants people to go in not with the expectation of what they saw maybe in the movie production. I mean, you had all these huge Hollywood stars and all this stuff, but he promises that the production itself at NPC is going to be kind of, you know, you won't have to go all the way to San Francisco to see some real high-end production value, is kind of the way he's putting it to me. And this opens up Thursday night. They will be having a preview at 7:30 p.m. And then the actual opening night is Friday at 7:30 p.m. also. On Saturday night, they will be having a gala event. And it will feature a pre-show ceremony. They're going to have some Les Miserables themed dishes. It's going to be lots of fun, some entertainment. And this is going on. It's running July 25th through August 18th. For more information, you could check out www.mpctheater.com. I'm going to run real quick through some best bets items here. Future Twin, which is a really cool San Francisco band. They like to call their sound Punkadelic, Farmageddon, Moongaze. Still not sure what that exactly means. They got like this real dreamy, cool kind of surfy sound to them. I really like it. It's just some fun, fuzzy indie pop stuff.
Is it the kind of music you dance to, or the kind of music you sway to?
It's the kind of music you sway and dance and kind of feel a little sad to.
Oh.
You could just run the whole gamut of emotions.
Yeah.
Burnt Palms and Palms, that's Palmz. Those are two completely different bands. They will be on the undercard. That's going on at 8 p.m. Saturday night at Jose's Underground Lounge. For some information, you can check out Future Twin's Facebook page, facebook.com/Future Twin. Sunday Blues in the Park, which has been kind of, it's gotten some pretty good crowds because of the absence of the Blues Festival this year. They're going to have a big name talent in Geneva Magnus. I want to make sure I got that name right. But she has won, she's an award-winning singer. She recently won the Blues Music Awards Contemporary Artist of the Year. She is a past B.B. King Entertainer of the Year as well at the said Blues Music Awards. So she's a fantastic talent. And this is free. This is going on Sunday from 1 to 4:30 p.m. at Laguna Grande Park on Canyon Del Rey in Seaside. For more information, you can call 899-6800. And finally, are you a big reggae rock fan?
No.
But you've heard some reggae rock in your life?
I've heard some reggae rock in my life, and I know from you that Cali Roots really hit it big. Is that reggae?
That's like the reggae rock.
Involved in there,
it's the scene. It's the happening scene. It's what the kids are all into right now.
All right, I gotta get with it.
Yeah, well, think Sublime and 311.
Oh, okay.
Along
well, then
those
yes,
lines.
I am a fan of reggae rock.
Okay, there you go. So there's a local band called Wasted Noise who's making a lot of noise, as it is. They did Cali Roots. They just did the Bodo GP on this past weekend out in Laguna Seca. So they're going to be a part of KRML and Monterey Bay Reggae Fest, which is happening the weekend of August 8th. They're going to be performing Wednesday night. This is a pool party. So
sweet. Bring your swimsuit.
I know you like pool parties. So this is at the Polartella Hotel and Spa in Monterey. This happens 6:30 p.m. Wednesday, July 31st. For more information on that, you can check out call 620 7374. So that's what's happening around the peninsula this coming weekend and into the next week. Now we are going to talk a little bit in your area of expertise, which is television, and the big event coming up is the Emmys. Those were announced last week?
They were announced last week, the nominations, and kind of the big news that came out of that was Netflix getting some nominations, and it's the first time that online shows have been nominated for anything, even though the category has been opened to online shows for 6 years. Mm-hmm. And you know, part of it is they got nominated for House of Cards, which got drama and actor and actress, and then Jason Bateman got nominated for actor for Arrested Development, which 7 years ago I would have been excited, but you know, it's big because it kind of opens the gate, I think, for other online shows, and it sort of gives Netflix not necessarily legitimacy, but it answers the question about whether Netflix actually can count as TV, their original series. You know, Emmys certainly aren't the be-all, end-all, but this is certainly one kind of answer to that question.
So you've obviously seen House of Cards and Arrested Development. I'm just curious, in the case of House of Cards, it's deserved?
I think it's deserved, yeah. It's totally legitimate. It's well-crafted, well-acted, it's sleek, it's stylish. I'm really excited that Robin Wright was nominated for actress because I think she really did an amazing job of kind of bringing this character who's just like cold and distant, and by the end I felt like I understood her, and that's a really, really great performance from her, and I'm excited. I hope she wins in that category.
So is Kevin Spacey like slumming it doing Netflix now, or what's going on there?
Man, you know, he knows where it's at. You know, it's part of that transition of movie actors going to TV, small screen. You know, Jeff Daniels and Newsroom, he also got nominated, and just, you know, Glenn Close a couple years ago with Damages and stuff. It's just kind of like this huge transition of actors coming to TV, and it's where it's at these days. And Netflix, I think you could probably argue, is maybe a step above what you would think TV would be.
Right. And I mentioned this to you earlier. I mean, is this kind of Netflix morphing into like the AMC kind of, where they're kind of cranking out this like almost art house fare or critically acclaimed fare now?
Yeah, I think you could definitely argue that. I mean, they even have sort of maybe the Walking Dead equivalent with Hemlock Grove, which came out a couple months ago too. But yeah, it's kind of like, you know, cable took over for broadcast, and now maybe online is going to take over for cable. And you know, Amazon is developing a couple comedies. Hulu has its own series, so it'll be interesting to see what else is going to come next year.
And what does this mean for networks, though? I mean, because it's just like more and more every year they're just getting shut out.
It is. They really are. And it's, you know, this year it's cable pretty much across the board, except when you get into the comedies. You know, networks still really kind of hold the corner on that one, but I don't know. Maybe just networks need to step up their game a little bit, but can they, with the constraints that they have for advertising? I'm sure there's a way, but
I was reading about things that are better in England. One of the things they mentioned was the fact that after 9 p.m. They allow it to curse on TV.
Oh, that would be awesome.
So I think that's, you know, they got to lose.
Although the well-timed bleep is a great great comic element, you know.
Yeah, I actually watched some Comedy Central stuff, and they actually mute out the bleeps. I prefer that.
Yeah.
I was watching Get Him to the Greek. This is completely aside, but you know, like, and I think it's effective. You know,
yeah.
if you do some variation of that. So,
yeah, for sure.
Going to categories though now, let's talk a little bit about some acting categories. Tell me what you're excited about.
Excited about, not excited about. I think Modern Family is kind of an example of show that it's over-nominated. I feel the same way about Downton Abbey, even though Jim Carter got nominated for supporting actor as Mr. Carson, which is thumbs up on that one. But Hugh Bonneville for Downton Abbey, just like really, the Emmys have a love affair with that show that, even though I love it, I think they kind of need to back off. But Modern Family is just kind of ridiculous. Basically, the whole cast was nominated except for Eric Stonestreet,
who won last year.
Won previous year. So maybe they thought they were changing it up a little bit. I mean, you have 3 actors from the same show in one category.
Although I'm gonna step in here and do my Emmy lobbying and say I want Ed O'Neill to win in his category just so we can see Al Bundy win an Emmy award.
And I'll bow to that.
Yeah, I have no real reason other than I want to see someone from Married with Children take home one of those critics awards.
And that's fair. That's fair. But maybe he should have been the only one. And then, but I kind of have a hard time thinking about, okay, so if they weren't nominated, who would go in instead? I'm not not quite good on who got snubbed and who didn't. I will say that a lot of the critics pretty much overwhelmingly in Best Actress were really upset that Tatiana Maslany of BBC America's Orphan Black did not get into the acting category. And I can see their point. I am maybe like halfway through that series right now, but it's a show about clones, and so she plays like a handful of very distinct personalities.
Oh wow!
And it takes a special talent to pull it off, and so I can see their logic behind that one. What's interesting too is that the actress category is 7 long.
Wow.
The others had like 5 or 6. So who would you bump out? I don't know.
Yeah. And one of my personal favorites that we were mentioning a little while ago, Breaking Bad is up for a slew of awards, as it usually is around this time of year.
And its final days.
Yeah, they squeezed out. They really squeezed out that last season, cut it in half. We're at odds a little bit here in terms of the supporting actor category. Why don't you mention the nominees there?
We have Aaron Paul as Jesse, which is he's the number 2 on that show, so of course he would. But I was excited to see Jonathan Banks up. That's Mike, my man Mike.
Yeah.
He's really became one of my favorite characters, if maybe not the favorite.
He the cool thing about and I'm Team Jesse. You were Team Mike.
Mike,
of course.
absolutely.
Go ahead and establish
Underdog,
that.
why not?
But just talking about Team Mike, he came out. He was just this total like secondary character. Kind of showed up at random spots during the first couple of seasons. Then you learned a little bit about him, figured out he wasn't just some gun for hire by Saul. He was actually Gus Fring's right-hand man, and just this last season, he really established himself as just someone who is he had so much depth to him. He's a grandfather. He is hitman for hire. He was a cleaner. He's got a heart. And he was the one that could see right through Walt White's facade out of all of them.
He doesn't take any BS.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'll be happy if he wins. I'm gonna root for Jesse though, just because I want to see him go away. 2-time champion. I like all the twists and turns that his character has taken from being kind of the guy that you thought was the bad seed to turns out he's being manipulated by Walt White this whole time. You're seeing his character kind of really unravel and all these transformations, and he's a young guy. It's tough to kind of handle all of those situations for a young actor. I think he's really matured, and we've seen the progression of his talent, throughout the length of the show. So we'll see what happens.
We'll be happy either way.
Yeah, either way. So that's it for Breaking Bad. We'll have more. We'll have a more in-depth preview of Breaking Bad as the final season premiere.
August 11th.
August 11th.
It kicks off.
Yeah. So stay tuned for that. Anything else? Any other final thoughts on Emmys?
I don't think so. It'll be an interesting year to watch. Awards are kind of. I've become less enamored with them, I have to say, over the years. Oscars are still kind of high up there for some reason, but it's still a little bit of legitimacy for what I already know. And maybe it will point me in the right direction, but it's also good to have these guys recognized. So
it's just makes me realize how hard your job is because you got to keep on top of all this stuff.
I don't. I wish I could.
But just writing for television, folks. For those of you that don't know, I mean, it's just you got to be on top of it. Yeah. So props to you. And
you're too kind.
And when will the show be airing?
It airs September 22nd on CBS.
That will be hosted by Doogie Howser.
Doogie Howser, MD. Yep.
All right, cool. Well, that'll wrap up our episode of Go Live this week. For Jeannie Evers and Mac McDonald, I'm Marcos Cabrera. Check you out later.